You know how every great story has a hero? Well, what happens when that hero falls? I mean, really falls, gets completely consumed by darkness, twisted into something unrecognizable. We're talking about a change so absolute, it just wipes away the person they were and creates a monster in their place. That's exactly what happened to Bi-Han, the original Sub-Zero. This is the story of his horrific rebirth as the Wraith, Noob Saibot. So yeah, the big question is, how does a legendary warrior of ice become a literal phantom of shadow? Well, the answer, it's a dark path paved with pride, betrayal, and a whole lot of vengeance. And just look at the difference. It is absolutely night and day. On one hand, you have this master of ice, a warrior who, for all his faults, lived by a code. And on the other, a being of pure shadow and just malice. This is so much more than a costume change, you know? It's literally the death of a man and the birth of something else. To really get what happened, to understand the shadow, we've got to go back and understand the man. All right, so before all the shadow stuff, there is Bi-Han, the elder Sub-Zero. And look, he wasn't just some random assassin. This guy was one of the most feared and respected warriors in the entire Lin Kuei clan. And you have to understand, the name Sub-Zero, that wasn't just a cool code name. It was a title, a legacy. It was passed down from his grandfather to him. Think about that. It carried the weight of the whole clan. That's a huge mantle of power and responsibility to have on your shoulders. So, Bi-Han was a man totally defined by his duty and his pride. Let's be real, he was no hero. He was a lethal assassin. But he had a code, right? He operated within a certain framework. And that code, well, it was about to be completely shattered. You know how it goes. The road to hell often starts with one single bad decision. For Bi-Han, that decision was taking a jump from the incredibly manipulative sorcerer, Quan Chi. The mission seemed simple enough. Go get a mystical amulet. And this is where everything starts to go wrong. Quan Chi, being the master manipulator he is, pleads both sides against the middle. He hires the Lin Kuei and their biggest rivals, the Shirai Ryu clan, for the exact same job. So what happens? Bi-Han runs right into the Shirai Ryu's best warrior, a guy named Hanzo Hasashi, and kills him. In that moment, he seals his own fate, because that one act creates the vengeful specter we all know as Scorpion and sets them both on a collision course with destiny. And that collision course led straight to the first Mortal Kombat tournament. The past never stays buried, right? Especially not when a sorcerer like Quan Chi is pulling all the strings. Okay, so here's the absolute tragedy of it all. It's all based on a devastating lie. See, it was Quan Chi who actually wiped out the Shirai Ryu. But then he resurrects Hanzo as Scorpion and feeds him this poison story. He tells him that Sub-Zero was the one who killed his entire family, his wife, his child. He literally weaponized Scorpion's grief and pointed it like a loaded gun right at Bi-Han. And it worked. In the fires of Scorpion's rage, Bi-Han's life was over. He was killed, and his soul was cast down into the Netherrealm, a literal demonic hellscape. But for a guy like Bi-Han, death wasn't the end. Oh no, it was just a terrifying new beginning. So imagine this. You're in the deepest pits of the Netherrealm, a place where pure evil is forged. That's where Bi-Han's soul ended up, and it was claimed. This is the exact moment the warrior dies, and the Wraith is born. Just everything he was. The title, the honor, the pride, his name, all of it just burned away in the unholy fires of that place. This wasn't some noble resurrection. It was a perversion. His soul was corrupted, tainted beyond recognition. Everything that made him Bi-Han was just scoured away, leaving nothing but a hollow shell, a vessel for pure, unfiltered evil. And the result of this dark alchemy? Noob Saibot. He was reborn as a specter of shadow, an agent of darkness. And the irony? He's now bound in service to the very same sorcerer who engineered his downfall in the first place. So who is this new being? Well, he's the complete opposite of everything Sub-Zero ever stood for. That cold, calculated precision of ice, it's been replaced by the unpredictable chaos of shadow. Yeah, his cryomancy, his power over ice, that's all gone. Now he's got shadowmancy. That means he can teleport, turn invisible, and most famously, he can literally weaponize his own shadow, sending it out as a clone to fight for him. The cold, disciplined warrior is gone, and in his place is this chaotic, nihilistic phantom. And here's a pretty cool piece of trivia, actually. His new name, Noob Saibot, it has a real-world origin. It's a shout-out to the creators of Mortal Kombat, Ed Boon and John Tobias. Just take their last names and spell them backwards. It's a clever little Easter egg for one of the absolute darkest characters in the whole series. So as Noob Saibot, he basically became a major player for the bad guys. First, he's serving Quan Chi. Then, he pledges himself to Shinnok, who's a super powerful but totally corrupt elder god. He becomes an absolute terror in the Netherrealm. But even while he's serving these other masters, his own ambition is just simmering under the surface, this dark desire to one day rule the place himself. And all of this, it brings us to the real core of his tragedy, right? Was this transformation inevitable? Was that darkness always inside of him, just waiting for the right moment to come out? So that's the ultimate question we're left with. Was Bihan just a cold-blooded killer who got what he deserved and death just revealed his true nature? Or was he a flawed warrior, a victim of some serious manipulation, a hero who fell because he was up against forces way bigger than himself? That's the question that makes his story so incredibly compelling. It's the ultimate tragic fall, from ice into eternal shadow.